of the NFC Central right now as we sit.
Marino going to the air in the waning moments of the third quarter on first down and guns it into the arms of Ihani Owezike at the 39-yard line, but the line judge comes in and says Steve Ezreal knocked the ball loose and it's incomplete. Owezike picked up from San Francisco recently. Jimmy Johnson said, you know, I wasn't quite sure how to pronounce his name, but then he started to look real good in practice and I learned.
Well, if he were injured, he wouldn't even be at practice.
Yeah, they just claimed him back on the 9th of this month, and they said he knows the system, so that's making it a lot easier for him to slide in here a little bit. And he's a smart guy.
He makes that catch, he'll slide in a lot easier.
Second down and 10 from the 25-yard line. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar stuffed on what will be the final play of the period. Henry Thomas makes the tackle. That's the end of the third quarter. Miami 17, New England 16. And Monday Night Football resumes after this from our ABC stations. Breeze really picking up. The question is, will those flags be at half-staff, figuratively, tonight for the New England Patriots, or not? Or will they still be rippling in the breeze? 17-16 Miami as we start the fourth quarter. 3rd and 10. Dan Marino from the 25-yard line. Throws and converts as O.J. McDuffie makes the catch. He takes it to the 38 to move the chains.
That was great protection, Boomer. He had a wonderful look at the field.
He really did, and the good thing now for the Miami Dolphins in this fourth quarter, they have the wind to their back. And it is a significant win when you look at the top of the stadium. But right here, look at this protection. They're only rushing 3 guys. You know, and he knows that, so he knows that he could take a little extra time and give McDuffie a chance to get open.
Change up front, offensive line. Mark Dixon out of the game. He started, and John Bach is in at left guard, number 60, 1st and 10 at the 37-yard line. Marino throws a little behind Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who drops it.
You know, the interesting thing about the Miami Dolphins situation, the way they use their roster, they only have 6 offensive linemen active for this particular game, and John Bach's in there right now. But conversely, on the other side, they like to use 8 defensive linemen, and they like to roll them in and out to keep them fresh.
Second down and 10 at the 38-yard line. Marino throws. That's McDuffie. They were playing loose on McDuffie and then closed on him. He makes the catch up at the 46-yard line, a little short of the first down.
You know, O.J. McDuffie's one of those players that plays bigger than he is. He's only 5'10", he's about 200 pounds, but he's not afraid to go up and get the football. He's not the speediest guy on the field, but he will go up and make a play like this in front of a defensive back.
Ball gave him a lot of room, and he exploited it.
He has really started to play well the last few weeks and has really become very comfortable with Dan Marino.
3rd down and 1. Through the middle, nothing there. Big play by Henry Thomas taking down Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
What is going on in there, Dan?
Oh, I'm not a big fan of that slow handoff to a running back on a short yardage play. You know, the Patriots a lot like the Dolphins in the fact that they have wonderful team speed. And this is just a slow developing running play.
And this is Henry Thomas coming on the backside. And Henry Thomas is one of those guys that's playing with a bad ankle and stayed with the play. And Avery actually broke right back into him.
Henry Thomas doesn't practice at all during the week, but the guy plays.
Klaus Wilmsmeyer to kick. High floating kick. They've got Willie Clay back to receive it, but he lets it bounce, and it stays in bounds. And Miami's going to down it inside the 5. Nate Jacquet downing it there. So Clay let it go, and now New England is pinned deep. Miami up by 1. Aerial coverage tonight provided by Canon cameras looking down into Foxborough Stadium.
You know, decisions that are made by players on the football field lead to bad breaks, and Willie Clay was back there for the injured Troy Brown to make a punt return, and he let the ball hit around the 10-yard line. He hasn't returned a punt since 1995. You would think that maybe the fact that he hasn't been on the field, he did not want to make a mistake in a crucial part of the game.
Well, they had Brown hurt.
Before the snap, false start, offense number 68. Half the distance to the goal is still first down.
They've been using Chris Canny back there, but Carroll opting for Clay. Last time, in fact, Clay returned a punt, he was a Lion.
Max Lane gets called for the false start to the very left-hand part of your screen. He's filling in at right tackle, where Zephros Moss is normally the starter, but he injured a knee, and he's missing the game this week. He got hurt last week in their game with Buffalo.
It's 1st and 12 now from the 3, looking for room. Robert Edwards gives them some breathing space out to the 8-yard line. Tackled there by Kenny Mixon.
You're talking about Robert Edwards, and you know his production has tailed off significantly over the last 4 weeks. But you know, this is, you remember, it's a rookie, and the NFL season is a grind. It's 16 weeks of hard work, and you know you're going to have up and down weeks, and these are things that these rookies are not used to. But he's shown some good perseverance tonight, even though he hasn't had a lot of yards.
On 2nd and 7. Bledsoe throws. That's caught. First down. A lot more. Terry Glenn finally forced out of bounds up at the 28-yard line. Broke a would-be tackle by Sam Madison. And for Terry Glenn, that's 7 grabs tonight for 66 yards. That one worth 21.
His speed kills, and you can see here Terry Glenn is making like he's going for a deep play, and Madison overplays it, and Glenn comes back. I think that most coaches would like to see him try to stay in bounds on the sideline instead of stepping just out of bounds like that.
First and 10 up at the 28-yard line. Bledsoe going deep, and it is not caught by Glenn. The ball hung up for a moment. Buckley had been beaten on the play. Then Glenn had to slow down. Couldn't bring it in.
Oh, Terry Glenn had Terrell Buckley by 3 steps. And again, Drew Bledsoe throwing into the wind, and the higher the ball goes, the more wind it encounters here at Foxborough. And that ball just came to an abrupt halt. And yet still, I thought Terry Glenn had a shot to catch it.
You know, you could see the quickness of Terry Glenn getting on top of Terrell Buckley. It was a great release. Now, that ball went right through his arms. He should have had it, but I'll tell you, if Drew was able to throw it out there another 5 yards, it would have been an easy touchdown.
But as it was, it still was a pretty easy catch.
2nd and 10 out of the gun. Throwing to Simmons, breaks 1 tackle and another, and fights forward up to the 37-yard line.
There we are, back again, Boomer, talking about the strength of Tony Simmons. Boy, I love what this guy does after the catch.
Playing big. It's, you know, it's the yards after the catch that the San Francisco 49ers have made famous in the NFL. When you get a guy like this that you can throw the ball to 3-4 yards past the line of scrimmage, and he'll go get you 5 more after breaking 3 tackles. Now, that's a sign of a top quality receiver.
He was our 2nd-round draft choice this year from Wisconsin, and just look at that. This guy just doesn't go down easily.
Key 3rd and 2. Bledsoe out of the gun, surveying, pumping, throwing wide open, caught by Carter, the fullback, to the 15-yard line. Tony Carter. They've been splitting the running backs tonight with some frequency, and they sent Carter to the outside that time, and Tony all the way downfield for 49 yards.
Now they're trying to create matchups, but the key to that play was the pass protection, enabling Drew to sit back there, pump the ball once, and then pull it back and throw it down the sideline. I'm impressed with their running backs and their ability to catch the ball from the wide receiver position.
Well, Boomer, Miami's rushing 4 guys. All 4 of them came to a complete halt on the first pump by Drew Bledsoe. He throws every one of them.
Bledsoe 342 yards tonight. That is tipped up in the air. Incomplete. Darrell Gardner, his 2nd tip tonight. Bledsoe for the 19th time in his 6-year career up and over 300 yards.
Well, he could probably have about 450 yards right now if a couple of his deep balls were thrown a little bit further. But again, it looks to me as if he's much more comfortable in the shotgun back there. He's seeing the ball, he's seeing the field very good, and he does not have a pass rush in his face.
2nd and 10 at the 14. Dolphins by 1, under 10 minutes left in regulation. And Bledsoe keeps it himself, thrusts forward to the 7-yard line.
He launched himself. Think this game is of importance to the Patriots.
Oof. Crowd saluting him with Drew.
Well, after a few of those interceptions, it was boo-boo. But, you know, as a quarterback, you do have to have a short memory. And this is a tough way to play right here. This is a la the play of John Elway in the Super Bowl. You know, you might not be having your greatest game, but you can certainly show your team that you're ready to go tonight.
I like that little half gainer at the end there.
3rd and 3 out of the gun. A lot of time and a wobbly pass that may have been deflected. Or
I think he was just throwing that one away.
I think he got hit just as he unloaded the ball.
Bowens
and Gardner, these are two big guys and very disruptive guys in the middle of this Miami defense. Bowens at 315, Gardner at 315.
Well, now New England with an opportunity to take the lead for the first time tonight.
I don't know. It's
Drew got planted.
Oof. Boy, you'll see that every now and then, called for roughing the passer.
25-yard attempt by Adam Vinatieri. Tom Tupa will hold, make it 24 officially, and that is good. And Adam Vinatieri has just kicked his 4th field goal of the game. And it takes the Pats almost 51 minutes, but they finally get the lead. New England 19, Miami 17. On Sunday night, the Broncos seek their 12th win of the season. They'll try to go 12-0 against San Diego. And then Monday Night Football next week from San Francisco. The 49ers hosting the New York Giants on Monday Night Football. At the 11-yard line, John Avery returns the Vinatieri kick. To the 43-yard line, and Vinatieri again makes the tackle, and 2 flags come in.
I wonder if did he try to trip him or something? Or was it holding? Tripping. There you go.
Dante Scarnecchia, off and on for 16 years, has been a Patriots assistant.
I think it was tripping against the New England Patriots.
But if it was the trip that caused the tackle,
it's okay.
Darn right it is, because that would have been a touchdown otherwise.
Tripping by the kicking team during the return. Number 4, 10-yard penalty. Miami keeps the ball, 1st down.
Now I go back to their game in October. You can watch number 4 right here. Looks like Brian Leach from the New York Rangers trying to stop somebody there.
Little kung fu fighting.
Yes. But
and he gets Avery down, and Avery might have been gone. It is hard to fault Adam Vinatieri for that call right there.
Last line of defense that you got to do anything. But going back to their game in October, you know, Avery had a couple returns just like this that put the Miami offense in great field position.
At the 48-yard line, anyway, Vinatieri, despite the penalty, is a guy who may have saved a couple of touchdown bursts tonight at the 48-yard line. Marino throws underneath, caught by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, takes it to the 43, gain of 5. Slade makes the stop. Let's get an update from Leslie.
Al, as you can hear, the crowd is very much supportive of the Patriots. There is some anger and resentment, but most seem to think that Bob Kraft did in good faith try to keep the team here. One fan said to me, I won't drive 100 miles down to Hartford, but I won't miss sitting in traffic for 2 hours either. Al?
Good point. Sometimes you get stuck on Route 1 here. You get home on Wednesday.
Sometimes that seems like Route -1.
Yes.
The long haul here.
2nd and 6, and this is caught by Aranda Gadsden, who had that huge first half, 2 touchdowns. First grab of the second half here. Israel makes the tackle.
Now here's a real important play for the Dolphins. You know, this half already 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, and a 4th and 1. They have been unable to convert, so now they're stuck to about a 3rd and 3 here.
And that has been, as you saw Kippy Brown, that has really been a bugaboo for Miami of late. Good running game, but unable to convert on those 3rd and short situations.
When they're handing it off. I don't think they'll be handing this one off, though.
3rd and a short 3. Fake. Over the middle. Open at the 25-yard line. McDuffie. And that's a first down, and the flag is down.
That'll be holding on James Brown, the right tackle. Right out in the middle of everything. He had no choice. He was beaten, and he knew Dan Marino was rolling right behind him, and he just pretty nice open field tackle, much better than the one Vinatieri had.
Offense number 76, 10-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
You know, I never had a problem. I never had a problem with an offensive lineman. You'll see up here, big old tackle James Brown right there is going to be holding. But I never had a problem with my offensive linemen when they were holding. You'll see he'll tackle Henry Thomas, but you know what? If they keep me from getting hit, it's okay.
Well, it was a pretty good spin move by Henry Thomas that got him back to the outside.
And he also knew that Dan Marino was coming to him because of the play fake.
Well, Marino might not yell at him, but I'll guarantee you Jimmy Johnson will.
Yeah, quarterback won't, but
3rd and 13. They blitz up the middle. It's picked up. It's caught underneath at the 48-yard line by McDuffie. He fights his way to the 40, but he's 2 yards shy of the first down.
Well, an outstanding stand by New England's defense right here. Miami starts this drive in New England territory and basically went nowhere.
And they're going to go for it again. Well, this is why you throw the ball short of the sticks to give your receiver a chance to make a play for you. And O.J. does do a good job. It gets him now down into a situation where it's manageable and you can go for it.
Wow. Man, I'm telling you, I'd punt the football here.
I do too.
There's a lot of time left in this game.
4th and 3 from 41. Marino throws, caught, first down. Troy Drayton.
Jimmy is really taking chances tonight, and they're paying off.
This goes back to my theory of saying, you know what, he wants to run it, he wants to play defense, but he also knows that he has number 13 back there and is probably going to make the right decision most of the time for him. That's a luxury that he has as a coach. This is just a tight end fighting off the pressure of a safety.
Well, Pete Carroll is arguing that Troy Drayton was guilty of offensive interference.
Chris Carter in the secondary that time from the 34-yard line. Swinging to the outside is Abdul-Jabbar. Nothing happening.
Getting around the corner on either one of these defensive teams is...
it ain't happening.
No, it's not. It's been tried many times. And to quote my fellow analyst, it ain't happening.
Dan Marino, the NFL record in terms of game-winning drives in the 4th quarter or overtime, 44 of them.
And a game-winning drive by definition when you take the lead for the final time.
He had the one bad decision with the interception, but up until this point, he's played a pretty flawless game. He's been on top of his game, and he's been in a rhythm.
2nd and 10 from the 34. Under 5 minutes to go. And that's caught over the middle. O.J. McDuffie. And that should be a first down. McDuffie to the 23-yard line, popped by Lawyer Malloy.
You know, the interesting dynamic here now is that if you are a offensive player for the New England Patriots, you got to start thinking about your 2-minute drill. You know, and that's something that we're not looking at right now, but that's something that they'll be thinking about. And you can see Dan Marino's in that rhythm. He's delivering the ball through traffic. He's putting it, you know, a nice touch on it, and it's very accurate. He certainly still has it, Dan.
Yes, I think he does. He might make something of himself if he sticks with it.
Yeah, I think so.
We're 13 and counting down. 1st and 10 to the 23-yard line. Dolphins already in field goal range. And this one,
you know,
a delay of game penalty here.
He tried to milk the clock and take it down to the last second, and he went beyond the last second.
Delay of the game.
Oh, you know, he's screaming over right now. Get the play in.
First down.
Well, he didn't say it quite like that, but you know, that's something that he wants to plays in quickly. He wants to be able to get to the line of scrimmage and kind of milk the play clock. He doesn't want to have it forced on him.
It's Pat Jones.
That's a costly penalty. Mate loosening up. And keep in mind, Mate is a little bit nicked. He's got a bad hip. Some question about whether he was going to be effective tonight.
First and 15 as Marino on a tight roll throws. Wide open is the fullback Stanley Pritchett, first and goal. Spotted at the 4-yard line, tackled by Willie Clay, 24-yard gain.
You know, the interesting thing of that play is where Stanley Pritchett came from and how he got out there. And it comes back down to how much time Marino has in the pocket to be able to deliver the football.
Wow, what's amazing to me is how effective Dan's being here by rolling out.
Look where Pritchett comes from, but the backfield.
Yeah. Ski boot and all, there he goes outside. He puts the fake on Chris Sullivan. Boy, this is just vintage Marino.
Out on the ground again. And it is Abdul-Jabbar for the touchdown.
If Miami, and there is a lot of time left in this ball game.
They need to go for 2 here as well.
Yeah, they'd like to go up by 6 points. But if Miami should win this game, we have got to look at the 2 fourth-down gambles by Jimmy Johnson. One kept the drive alive right here. The other resulted in a touchdown pass to Gadsden. Bold, bold moves by Jimmy Johnson.
The best run tonight by a Miami Dolphin.
Marino screaming he wants the play call. He has no play call for the 2-point conversion. Doesn't want to waste a timeout.
He's only got a 25-second clock, and it hasn't started to move yet.
Well, the referee will give him a chance to get set in the huddle.
There it starts right there.
Now, the great thing about Dan Marino is that you know who's in charge on the football field. And much like John Elway and against Steve Young and Troy Aikman, those guys are in charge of their football teams, and you know that by watching their body language on the field.
I'm not sure this is necessarily what you do with a 4-point lead as Marino throws, but if you're going to make it, well, he didn't make it. Lamar Thomas couldn't pull it in, and if the Patriots score a touchdown and get an extra point, then Miami only ties them with a field goal. But if Miami goes for the extra point and makes it, they could still win the game with a field goal coming back the other way. We'll talk about it more when we come back. Good one in Foxborough with Miami on top 23-19. And just to pick up on what we were talking about, with a 4-point lead, they opted to go for 2. But when you think about it, if you kick the extra point and the Pats score, if you're Miami, you can still come back and win the game with a field goal. Now you can only tie the game with a field goal.
You're right on, Al. You're absolutely right. If they had it to do over, I'm sure they'd kick it again.
Here's Derek Cullors taking a knee in the end zone, and New England's going to take over at the 20-yard line. But the Pats right now with their season up in the air. 3:16 left in regulation. Awaiting Bledsoe in Connecticut.
Well, he's got a little work left to do here in Foxborough.
Yes, he does.
3 minutes, 16 seconds left in this ball game, and his team down by 4.
You know, this is the situation where you earn your reputation. I mean, this is, you have your best receiver on the field. He's had a good night tonight. And Drew has played very well up to this point. 342 yards passing. Another 80 would be nice.
Over 8 yards per pass. That's a great average from the 20-yard line. They start on the ground, and Edwards can't get on track. It's tripped up in the backfield for a loss of 1. It'll be 2nd down and 11. Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Charles Schwab, providing people, technology, and support to help you gain financial control. Miller Lite, an official sponsor of the NFL and the Super Bowl. AT&T, it's all within your reach. And Nissan, who reminds you that life is a journey. Enjoy the ride.
Boomer.
I don't know.
What are they doing back in the huddle?
What are they handing it off for?
But if they're going to hand it off, run a play with a little quickness to it.
2nd and 11. Drew throws, and that is dropped by Tony Simmons at the 27. Patrick Surtain with the coverage. 3rd and 11.
Well, there's a lot of young talent on some young talent. That's the Patriots' second-round draft choice trying to catch a football against the Miami Dolphins' second-round draft choice. Two guys that are going to be in this league a long time. Simmons against Surtain. And that's just great timing by Surtain, hacking down with his right arm and knocking the ball loose.
He's been a real find for them. He's given them a real solid cover corner inside in their nickel defense. And here comes the blitz.
3rd and 11. Critical play.
Where's Terry Glenn? Where's Terry Glenn?
And instead it's Simmons. It's the rookie, and a big catch for a first down at the 37-yard line.
Oh, and solid work up front by the Patriots. Boomer called it. Here comes the blitz. Zach Thomas comes, and they are stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Outstanding blocking up front by the Patriots.
You know, the interesting thing here is, as you see, it looks like Ben Coates stays in. Running back stays in. That's good, solid protection. That's exactly the type of thing you want as a quarterback. And it gives you the comfort that you need in the pocket to deliver the ball accurately.
Well, Surtain won the first one. Simmons won the second.
From the 36, here comes the blitz again from the corner, and Wilson forces the quick throw. Jerry Wilson's been doing that all night long.
Well, he's coming free, and really Drew's doing the right thing. Just get rid of the ball and don't take a sack. And when you see number 24 coming off the bottom of your screen here, he knows that he's unblocked and he has to get rid of it. That's the danger of when you have 5-man patterns, because you only have 5 men blocking at that point.
Well, George Hill, the Miami Dolphins defensive coordinator, obviously saw something that led him to believe that Jerry Wilson was going to be effective coming off the corner, and he has been. He's been disruptive almost every time he's come in.
2nd and 10. Bledsoe going deep for Glenn, and Glenn was sandwiched, and it's incomplete at the 27-yard line. Buckley and Brian Walker with the coverage. So 3rd and 10 with 2:20, the 2-minute warning, and all 3 timeouts at New England's disposal. Jason Taylor put a lick on Bledsoe at the end.
This is the strategy of the game right here now, where the offensive coordinator for the Patriots are trying to figure out when they're blitzing. The defensive coordinator is really playing games with them, alternating blitz, and you can see Terry Glenn take a wicked shot right here by Walker.
Well, it's critical that the safety get over there and cut off the middle of the field so the receiver can't come back.
Here's the play singing by Ernie Zampese on 3rd and 10. Zach Thomas has Bledsoe, but he gets the pass away. Caught by Coates. Should have the first down.
A terrific play by Drew Bledsoe. Again, the blitz comes. It seems like every other play, the Miami defense is bringing the blitz, and Drew does a nice job of basically holding off Thomas.
Boy, they pulled that ball back about 6 inches or so, or a foot back, to where it's going to be an interesting measurement. The big guy just floats out, makes himself a target. Right there, it looked like Ben Coates was way past the marker, and he just barely got by it with the mark.
And the clock is stopped right now for the measurement. Carroll has all 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning. They're going to let the clock go down to 2 minutes. And a 1st and 10 upcoming from the 46-yard line in a 4-point game. Marino pacing.
Right there, the referee winds the clock, which will take us to the 2-minute warning.
Look at Drew Bledsoe just pushing off Zach Thomas. That's what you're able to do when you're that big and that strong.
2-minute warning in Foxborough. Miami 23, New England 19. Jimmy Johnson, hopeful of his team going 8-3. Pete Carroll looking to stay alive in the AFC East. 2 minutes to go. Miami by 4. The ball at the 46. All 3 timeouts available for New England as Drew Bledsoe on 1st down guns it over the middle and too high, intended for Henry Ellard, who's in the game for the first time. Brock Marion with the coverage. Ellard, 11 years with the Rams, 4 years with the Redskins, recently signed by New England, sits on the bench for 58 minutes, and now he's in for the last 2.
225 games in the National Football League as a wide receiver, and Ben Coates hobbling off, and woo, that's not the guy you want to see leaving the lineup right now when you need some clutch catches and moving the chains.
And not only that, he is a good pass blocker, and in situations where Miami's blitzing, you know, that's where he has to block. That's where the tight end has to block.
Lovett Purnell in as the tight end now, and that's incomplete. Jefferson got held up, looks for a flag, doesn't get it. We'll see what happens to Coates on the last play as we look at the replay. It's 3rd down and 10.
This is a part of his job and something that he does very well. And he gets rolled up on the back of his legs. Looks like he twisted an ankle a little bit. He's coming back in the game, however.
Shane Burton fell right on the right ankle of Ben Coates.
And there he is.
That's, you know, that you just more often than not, that's how a guy gets hurt near the line of scrimmage. He's trying to block, got his back to a play, and somebody rolls up his legs from either the back or the side.
Gonna get moving here now. The down clock is down to 5 seconds.
Well, they've converted 3rd and 11, 3rd and 10. Oh, what a wasteful timeout.
Yeah, that didn't work. That you end up burning off precious. That's just a terrible timeout.
And not only that, but if you have to give the ball up on downs here, at least if you had all 3 timeouts available defensively, you could then get the ball back.
I think he's hurt, though. Looks like he's hurt in his hand right now. And I'm wondering if he was trying to buy a little time. And the last 2 balls that he threw were kind of sailors on him. They took off on him.
Looked like he was looking at his right index finger.
Wonder if he hits it in the helmet.
Yeah. Shane Burton.
Did he hit Burton or did he hit Rucci, his right guard?
Well, that's the reason for the timeout. Clearly, as you saw Zolak loosening up.
Let's take a look at it again.
Looks like he hits Burton's hand. That's exactly what happened.
He does hit Burton's hand.
It's the palm of the hand, and you know those things smart for a little bit. Usually you can kind of shake him out a little bit, and he took a timeout, went over there and threw the ball. It's not something that's you know, that you want to have happen to you. Certainly, it's in the back of your mind now.
3rd down and 10 from the 46. Again, they need a 3rd and long conversion. Here comes the blitz again. It is picked up. Bledsoe hit as he throws, but that's incomplete. And Bledsoe goes to the turf once more.
And the ball's high again. It doesn't look like he's able to grip the ball.
And an absolutely brilliant call by the Miami Dolphins defense. When you know your opposing quarterback is a little bit nicked and something's wrong, Boomer, you got to come after it.
You see, the thing,
you got to come after it.
The thing is that they had to use a timeout on the last series, and they actually could have punted it with 3 timeouts left. I don't know what they're going to do right now.
Well, Bledsoe, they're going to have to take another timeout.
Yeah.
I think he's almost saying, like, look, man, I can't throw the ball.
Yep. It's a killer.
It looks like he's saying he can't throw the ball. I mean, they can't.
I think Zolak's going to come in.
Reminder tomorrow night, big night, NYPD Blue. Jimmy Schmitz's last show. Tomorrow night at a special earlier time. Note there, 9:30 Eastern and Pacific and 8:30 Central Time.
Zolak's got his helmet on, and they're trying to figure out whether Drew can do it or not.
He can catch it. The question is, can he throw it?
Well, if Drew can stay in the game.
So the Patriots season comes down to 1 play right now.
Right here, because they only have 1 timeout left, so Miami will be able to run the clock out if there's no conversion on this play.
What a bad break for Pete Carroll's team. Drew Bledsoe hurts a finger on such a critical part of this game.
And they've had to use 2 timeouts when the clock was already stopped. I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing that hurts you the most right there.
So it's 4th and 10.
That is hardly a confident-looking quarterback walking up to the ball.
Now the question is, here comes the blitz again. You know they're coming.
Jefferson left, Ellard and Glenn wide to the right.
Here they come. They're all coming.
4th and 10. Drew throws, and it's caught, and it's converted by Jefferson for a 1st down.
Again, outstanding blocking at the line of scrimmage. Of course, they pinpointed the blitz. They knew it was coming to the left side of the offensive formation, and the guys in blue stepped up.
Come on, let's go. You got to keep moving here. You got to get it up.
1 timeout remaining. 1st down at the 40-yard line. Field goal does no good. Down by 4. Underneath, incomplete. Trying to dump it off to Derek Cullors. 2nd and 10 with 75 seconds left.
it's one thing to be poised. It's another thing to be nonchalant and losing some time. Again, after that completion to the sideline, they should have been up at the line of scrimmage. They probably lost 4 or 5, maybe even 10 seconds.
Bledsoe with 50 attempts tonight. That last one, the 50th. 383 yards, but right now on the losing end on 2nd and 10. Bledsoe deep over the middle, and that's incomplete. Surrounded by a trio of Dolphins with Sean Jefferson. 3rd and 10 now.
You can see his hand's not right. I mean, it's just not right.
Drew almost looked like he was going to take himself out of the game. He walked halfway over to the New England sideline. He gives the impression he doesn't know whether he wants to stay or whether he wants to leave. That ball just sails away from him.
3rd down and 10. This is to Coates, and that's a gain to the 36, but you've got another 4th down play with the season at stake. It's going to be 4th and 6 at the 36, and this is their final timeout.
He wants timeout. You know, Terry Glenn's looking right at Pete Carroll. I don't know why he's not calling a timeout.
Because they're not going to take a timeout.
Unbelievable. The coach wants a timeout, but they're going for it. On 4th down and 6, Bledsoe throws, and that is caught at the 24 by Sean Jefferson.
Now call the timeout. It's an amazing series of plays.
This is one of the most bizarre endings imaginable. There's a wry grin on the face of Carroll.
When's the last time you saw a head coach calling for a timeout from the sideline and his team on the field completely disregards it?
I mean, Terry Glenn was looking right at him.
On this drive, the Pats have completed 2 3rd and longs and 2 4th and longs.
Boy, that's a good job of digging it out by Sean Jefferson.
Didn't we see O.J. McDuffie do that somewhere along the line?
Yeah, and he didn't get credit for it.
Right. Well, give Drew Bledsoe a lot of credit for hanging in there with a bad hand. A couple of these balls have gotten away from him, but somehow he's found the grip to be able to make the plays when they need it. Now, 34 seconds. I mean, sideline, or if you do complete one in the middle of the field, you're going to have to hurry up and get up and down it real quick.
Right, no timeouts left for New England.
You saw Jimmy working the officials. According to Jimmy, every Patriots offensive lineman is holding.
On every play.
Every receiver's pushing off right about now.
You know, I'm not against working the middle of the field here right now, guys. That's where it's going to be open. And they're going to be blitzing again. They're going to try to put the pressure on.
On 1st down from the 25, corner blitz, wide open, caught, Jefferson, touchdown.
Boy, and Drew Bledsoe is going bananas.
And he should be.
What a scene.
We talked about statement plays and statement situations, and Drew Bledsoe rose to the occasion tonight in what was a very, very difficult situation and made the plays with an injured hand on top of it.
On that drive, the Pats converted 3rd and 11, 3rd and 10, 4th and 10, 4th and 7, used all their timeouts, and the guy who dropped the pass last week on 4th down that could have put him back in the Buffalo game and may have led to a win is the big hero right now.
Back-to-back monster catches by Sean Jefferson.
So you want to know why they don't play prevent defense, or they do play prevent defense and don't blitz? That's the reason why. If you blitz, you take a chance. You're going to leave somebody open.
Vinatieri for the point after. 26-23 New England.
How many times have you heard people say, why do they play the prevent? Why do they play the prevent? Well, when you blitz, you're going to leave somebody open. And if you have a quarterback that has the guts to stand in there in the face of the blitz and has the arm to get it there, that's exactly what happens.
Brian Walker was the Miami Dolphin player coming over. It looked like somebody from Miami fell down. Yes, somebody who originally had the coverage on Sean Jefferson goes to the ground, back up about the 15. That's number 31, Brock Marion. It looked like he was the guy that was originally locked up with Jefferson, and he lost his footing back around the 15-yard line.
Sometimes broken plays and things like that happen, and you know, if you're on the other end of it, if you are the Miami Dolphins, boy, that's got to hurt. That has got to hurt. And conversely, on the other side, look at this guy. The feeling doesn't get any better than that, guys.
So 4 long conversions, and then at one point it looks like Bledsoe wants to take himself out of the game. At another point, Carroll's trying to call a timeout and they don't see him. And the next thing you know, they have the lead.
Now the other thing is it's not over. Miami has 2 timeouts
Well,
left.
now you go back to when Miami goes for 2 instead of 1. Had they gone for 1 and made it, a field goal would win the game now.
Right.
Now a field goal ties the game. Here's Vinatieri's kick. It is a bouncer falling down. It's rolling to the 1-yard line. It is picked up there by Marion, and he's dumped at the 3.
Brock Marion with a couple of back-to-back plays I think he'd like to forget.
All it takes is a couple pass interference calls, and you're right at half-field, midfield.
All it takes a couple pass interference calls, a couple 30-yard completions.
4th 400-yard passing game for Bledsoe. He's at 423.
And 3 of those 4 have been against the Dolphins.
Now Marino at the 26-yard line. Miami has 2 timeouts. Dan going deep, and somehow in the middle of it. Is it caught? No. Aranda Gadsden, for the moment when he went up, looked like he'd come down with it and couldn't hold on.
He was wide open.
Had the ball.
Oh, you don't get many opportunities airmailed to you like that. Gadsden is in the middle of everybody, and that ball is all his.
Looks like, I can't tell, looks like maybe we'll get a 21
from the left. Yep, you're exactly right.
Number 21, Steve Israel, looks like he gets his hand in there. But all that is a Hail Mary to the middle of the field. We'll probably see the same thing again. The Patriots are all over the field in the secondary right now.
Downfield again. Into traffic.
Oh, it's caught.
Who's got it? Caught by the Dolphins, and they take timeout at the 50-yard line with 5 seconds. Ed Perry, a backup tight end.
Who is that?
Ed Perry, who doesn't get a single call tonight, who's barely in the game tonight. 46-yard gain. Time for one more pass. Wow. So Marino with one last heave from the 50-yard line now. What a game. Marino 276 yards tonight. Bledsoe 423.
This is just a Hail Mary into the middle of the field where everybody goes in there, and you could see number 25, Larry Wiggum, looks like he has the ball. And that's really what you're trying to get done in there. Just throw the ball up and see what happens.
Talk about a team right now that could desperately use another 5 seconds. It would be Miami. If they had 10 seconds, they could get a completion here in the field goal range and call a timeout. This is the last play, barring a penalty.
Pats have 4 defensive backs inside the 20-yard line. The line of scrimmage is the 50.
They're playing the ultimate prevent.
One last gasp, and they go over the middle. They're going to try to call timeout, but it's too late. Perry makes the catch.
I think he might give him one.
They tried to call timeout.
Well, the officials aren't leaving yet.
Game's over.
Ed Hockley will give us the call.
Time expired on the clock. The game is over.
What a smart call by Miami to try to pull that off.
Well, this will give Jimmy one last thing to yell about.
Yep, but I think the officials got it right.
Remember, he's got to be touched or somebody has to call a timeout.
Well, he should have stayed right
and
down.
he got back up.
You can actually yell timeout without being touched according to the rules, but at that point, with 1 second, he makes the catch, and who's going to hear him?
Yeah, well, or Dan Marino can turn to the referee and call timeout.
And that's what Dan Marino did. He did actually turn around. As soon as he let the ball go, he turned around to Hockley and said timeout.
Well, they're happy in Foxborough. They are happy in Buffalo. They are happy in New York as well. There's a three-way tie in the AFC East, and the Pats are back in the chase, 1 game behind. A beauty from New England. Back to Rapid after this.
It will probably go down as one of the most emotional games in the history of the New England Patriots. Drew, talk about that last drive.
Well, it was, you know, that's a situation that I've always loved. You know, I mean, having those situations and having a chance to win in the last 2 minutes is the funnest thing you can do as a quarterback. And it's been a while since we've done that and won the game. And so that was really a great feeling to be able to do that.
It looked like something was wrong with your hand.
Yeah, I banged my finger on somebody's pads on one of the throws, and really couldn't feel my index finger very well. And so I was having trouble holding on to the ball. I was trying to make a decision whether I was helping the team or hurting the team by staying in there because I just couldn't feel it very well. But with the timeout, started to get a little feeling back and was able to make some throws.
It looked like it was good that you stayed in. Can you just talk about what this means to the Patriots in this week?
Well, it's a very emotional win for us, you know, with all the controversy about us moving and with the losses we've had. You know, it's really a situation where we really needed a win so desperately, and we were able to do it. And so hopefully this will give us some momentum and we can start doing something here late in the season.
There is life for the Patriots. Thanks, Drew. Congratulations. Back to you, Al.
You're right, Leslie. A glorious win, a bizarre week. Bruce Springsteen, the strains of glory days echoing through Foxborough Stadium on a wild night as the Pats stay alive, and the Dolphins are now in a three-way tie for first in the AFC East. A reminder, after the game, stay tuned to ABC for your late local news or other local programming, or go over to ESPN for a post-game show. We go to California next week. It's 3Com Park in San Francisco. The New York Giants against the San Francisco 49ers. In New England tonight, the New England Patriots defeat the Miami Dolphins 26-23. Al Michaels with Dan Dierdorf, Boomer Esiason, and Leslie Visser. Good night from Foxborough.